You're listening to the Coach's Journey podcast, exposing the struggles and celebrating the successes in the life of coaches who are action takers and creating authentic impact in today's world. Whether you're just starting out, expanding your reach, or exploding your impact, you're in the right place right now. Stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to this podcast. Now, here are your hosts of the Coach's Journey podcast.
Hello, awesome coaches, or the coaching nation, the beautiful coaching nation, as Dr. Sherry likes to call it. Dr. Sherry's not feeling well today, so I'm going to be leading this conversation, and I have a topic prepared for you. It'll be a quick discussion around this question that I've asked myself and I've observed in like whichever group I'm a part of, whether it's different certifications or groups where coaches hang out in, or I've had lengthy conversations with coaches around this. And my question to you is, are you too attached to your client's success? Now, we'll look at the positive and the negative side of that, but I'm so excited to explore this topic because I think it's such an important topic in terms of helping your clients gain results versus not being able to deliver results because you got too frustrated, too agitated, too annoyed by this client who's not able to make progress. So we'll jump into that in a bit, but now I do want to acknowledge the sponsor for our podcast, Coaching Mastery Community. And it is a community of coaches who are supporting each other to develop better skill sets in terms of their coaching abilities, their skill sets, coaching mastery, and they're supporting each other to develop better business skill sets to move their businesses forward towards the next level so they can make the income, they can create a bigger impact in the world and do it sustainably. I love the community because much of what I've learned is within Coaching Mastery community, within the discussions that we have had. And if you haven't joined our community page, we recently made it available for free to all coaches. You do have to answer a few questions, and it's we actually vet every coach. We will look at your profile. We will search you. We will make sure that this is not like a marketing thing that you're doing. It's just we want coaches who are ready to create a bigger impact in the world, who are ready to build their businesses, whether it's part-time or full-time, and you will get a lot of value within our community. More specifically, every Thursday, we actually air one of our sessions live, one of the group sessions that we do live, which is a discussion either on business mastery or coaching mastery. So we'd love to have you join us. You can click the link that I'm going to add after this. I haven't added it right now, but I will add it after my conversation with you guys. All right. And I will share a win because that's our custom, that's our culture. And the win for me is that I am incredibly busy and I'm in a huge push in terms of my business on the marketing side, on the sales side. In fact, I hired a business and marketing coach, and I'm working on building 3 separate events and possibly a 4th one in the next 6 months or so. So exciting stuff happening on all fronts. And when I say I'm busy, I am literally from one thing to the next. I am taking care of my breaks. I'm taking care of my well-being, but I've never been this productive and busy in my life. And that's a great declaration for me. And I love the process. Even though I am pretty busy, and by the end of the day, when I hit the pillow, I am gone. It's like I don't have much. I don't stay awake for long, and that comes from, I think, being productive, being purposeful, being on your path, and I love it. And I just wanted to share that with you. So let's jump into our topic. Are you too attached to your client's success? Now, it might sound like it might be more kind of intuitive to think that, well, I should be attached to my client's success. I care about my client's success. And I agree with you. I care a lot about my client's success. In fact, as coaches, we actually get paid to help clients with results, not to teach them concepts, not to help them with all sorts of conceptual things that they might be able to learn all over the place. In fact, most of my clients probably know much more about the personal development world, business development, professional development. They are they are ferocious readers and they follow the stuff to the teeth. So I probably couldn't teach them what they already know. So then here's what ends up happening. They know a lot of stuff. The challenge is that they feel blocked. In fact, a lot of them are in information overload, just like much of the world is. And what I've learned is that everybody has their own timeline. There are clients where I would go through a couple of sessions and in the end, they just took action. They started a podcast or they quit their job or they moved to a different state or a different country. It's the most incredible thing to watch. They made all these incredible changes because of a couple of sessions. Sometimes they won't even sign up with me for ongoing because that strategy session that I did was enough. And I hear about it a few months later. It does give me referrals though. And then I have clients who I will go through multiple sessions and they're making progress. I can see that they're making progress, but it's much slower. And then I have other clients who are even more slower than that process. Now, I'm not saying this to kind of share that, oh, some clients are slower than others. That's not the point. It's just that their life circumstances are different. The context they're in is very different. The challenges they're going through is different. Their level of awareness is different. So for everybody, it's different. Sometimes clients are ready to go and move forward towards a specific direction because they have set most of the foundations and all they needed was to unblock a few mental blocks that they had and kind of get a little bit challenged and nudge to move forward. But other times, my clients have to set a lot of the foundational areas, such as they need to get a little bit organized that they haven't been able to organize. They need to deal with some of the relationships that is creating a lot of negative emotional baggage inside of themselves that's taking up their emotional bandwidth, which takes up their mental bandwidth, which means that they cannot focus a lot of the times. I have clients who are going through illnesses or their family members are going through that. So they're dealing with that. So naturally their growth will be much slower than somebody who is not dealing with that stuff at that point in their life. So every client is so different. And initially, as I was starting out, I was like, well, I need to give my clients a result, and I would push them and push them, and at some point, I would get the blowback, and I'd be like, I would be like, well, this client is not coachable or does not receive challenge well. Well, I was wrong about that. And then I started noticing other coaches in these groups that I'm a part of and conversations that I'm part of. And by the way, I'm in multiple conversations with coaches every week. And I have been there for the past at least three, 4 years now. and I love being in those conversations and I learn a lot from coaches. But one of the themes that keep coming up is that, well, I've been trying to challenge this client to move forward in their business. And it's been like 3 months, nothing is happening, this and that. And they're frustrated about it. And I get it. I felt that too. However, it seems like these coaches might be much more attached to giving them results for their sake versus for their client's sake. And I'm not saying they're being selfish, but they might not be aware of what's happening. Because the focus becomes, oh, if I don't give this client results, then what's going to happen to my reputation? What's going to happen to my referrals? What's going to happen to my business? It's a very self-centric. But ultimately, the work that we're doing is actually supporting our clients. And if you're genuinely on that path and your focus is the client, if your focus is the service, then results are a product of that. It is an effect of that. It's not something that you can generate because of frustration or all sorts of attachments. Now, mind you, I would say definitely, if a client is not moving forward, there are multiple reasons, and some of those reasons I shared, but there are reasons on the coach's side too. For example, what I shared on my journey, I would get too frustrated and I would challenge too much. And I wouldn't realize that I was the problem in that process. So that's why one of the things that we promote a lot in our community is coaching mastery. You need to consistently develop your skill sets because the tool belt that you have as a coach initially as start out, you don't have a lot of tools. You have a few tools. If you've gone through a certification that you move forward, a bunch of them you're going to get through experience. but you need to keep developing and making those tools better and better and better. And those tools can show up in so many different ways. You can go deeper with clients, for example, by creating better safety, better psychological safety. You can help them process their emotions better. If you can help them go deeper in their relationships, be able to face the challenges in their relationships. You can help them become more strategic and productive. You can, the tools that you might have might be visualization, and might be sharing different perspectives or helping them see different perspectives. It might be helping them notice what's happening in their system. It might be looking at their calendar and see what's going on in there, and not just take their word for it, and help them walk through it. Because a lot of times there's so many things that I've learned over the years with clients, that some of the things that I used to think that would work doesn't actually work. And how I figured that out was, after I went through a session, I would take that back to the community, and I will bring it up to other coaches, like 5, 6, 10 other coaches in our conversations. That by the way, you're free to join. You can join our Facebook group. And all of a sudden I get these amazing perspectives, like, oh, I tried this. Oh, I see why your clients might not take that well. I see why there might be a challenge, or, oh, that's an interesting way you're approaching this. Now, this is giving me so much perspective, so much material to work with. And then I take what I think will work in my context, and then I experiment with that. And all of a sudden, holy shoot, I didn't even realize that. And then there's this saying that I say it over, is that when I'm coaching, whether it's in a group setting or one-on-one setting or an in-person setting, I am not the only coach there. There are 100 other coaches behind me, because I am constantly learning from other coaches. And that's, if I can give you any tip beyond, is just consistently learn from other coaches who are actually doing this, not just from books. Definitely read books on coaching. Definitely continue to be on your personal development journey. Definitely make sure you're working through your own stuff, and this will help you. And then the other side of it is that a lot of times we bring our own stuff, our own projections, our own personal challenges into our session. We bring our own biases. Coaches are very aware of the client's biases, but they're not aware of their own biases. So working through that could be very powerful, which means that as a coach, you need to have a coach. By the way, that's another benefit of our community. We, as a part of membership, that's the only thing that we're obligated to do, is to have a coach and coach somebody in the community and get feedback through that. So you get direct feedback from coaches as you coach them through. And so what ends up happening is, as you get coached, you're dealing with a lot of those challenges that you're helping clients deal with. And now you're not projecting a lot of stuff. To some degree, we all project, but it's not as amplified. It doesn't, you don't just look at things from your personal perspective or your own personal viewpoint, subjective viewpoint. You start to become open and start to look at it from multiple different angles, especially from clients' point of view. So really think about these things, because and here's the downside of being too attached. If you get too attached to the client's path, then you will challenge them towards overload. You will challenge them towards developing a lack of trust with you. You might go towards directions, as in you might create judgments in your mind. And our mind does create judgments anyway. You might start to believe those judgments. And then over time, what that does is it creates a disconnection between you and your client. And before you know it, they're not sharing a lot, or they will say stuff like, I don't know. And they will just sit back. And no matter how much you dig, you hear that I don't know, or some surface answers, and you're not able to go deeper because you just broke the trust. You broke the rapport because you're not understanding where the client is at. You're too attached to how you can deliver that success versus how you can allow that success to emerge from them. And I think that's our job as coaches, to help clients tap into their own wisdom, to help clients understand that their life is important. They know much more about their life than we do. And that level of humility can really shift how you connect with clients. And on the other side of it is that once you kind of detach from that, you realize that you're not responsible for your clients' actions. You can hold them accountable, you can support them, you can challenge them, you can go deeper with them, but they are responsible for their actions. And they understand that too when you're not attached. And so they're not blaming you for your coaching. They are just on that journey with you, and you're supporting them at whatever level they need it at. There are clients where I will challenge them to a whole different level than other clients who are not ready yet. And that's why it's very, very important to understand that every human being is very unique. They have unique circumstances, unique life experiences, unique ways of looking at things. They have interesting ways of approaching problems and concluding a certain way. And we need to work with that, whether it's in a one-on-one setting or even in a group setting. So I hope this was helpful. So those, in summary, from my perspective, I'm not too attached to my client success, even though I deeply care that they do have success, and I've been able to create a lot of success in my clients' life and business. And I've been fortunate to be around other coaches who have been able to do that. And one thing I've learned is don't be too attached to your client's success. Help them find out what that success is, keep supporting it to whatever level they need, and keep growing as a coach. Get a coach yourself, get the support that you need so you don't bring your stuff into the process. And also definitely be part of a community, whether it's our community, coachingmasterycommunity.com. You can, like I said, you can join our Facebook page for a group for free now. You'll have to fill out a short application, but once we vet you as a Bible coach, then you can actually watch a lot of our content for free. And you can be part of discussions on the Facebook page. So I'd love to have you there, whether you join our community or any other community. Please join a community of coaches who are going to support you. You need that. Don't do this alone. It doesn't have to be a painful journey. It can be a challenging journey, but it does not have to be a painful journey. So aside from that, I'd love to hear your perspective. I don't pretend to know everything or most things. I'm always open to different perspectives. Maybe I got some things were off based on what I said, and maybe you've had a different experience with clients. I'd love to hear that. Post that below in the comments, and please reach out to me on Facebook or reach out to Dr. Sherry. We'd love to support you in any way that we can. Other than that, hope you have an incredible week. We'll talk soon. Bye.
You're listening to the Coach's Journey Podcast.